What are you doing here? Ah! 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 Ah!
Alright guys, welcome back to another No Death Run walkthrough guide. This time we're going to be taking a look at the original Resident Evil. Sort of. This is actually Biohazard, which is the Japanese version. And the particular version that we're going to be playing is the PC version, which allows us to use door skips. But most importantly, I wanted to mention that we are using the Rebirth patch, which makes the game look a little bit better, and that's the reason why it's in English. So, let's go over some very basic things here in terms of how are you going to be able to get a no-death run. I want to point out that at one point in my life I was playing these Resident Evil games constantly, especially on stream. I speedran loosely for about 2 weeks. The original Resident Evil 2 Leon A scenario. I have previously on stream, and I think my video is still on my channel somewhere, beat this version of the game with Chris knife only the entire way. It was a bad ending though. So yeah, I do have a lot of experience with this game. It's not necessarily the hardest game by any means, especially the Japanese version compared to the English version. The English versions are way harder. There's less ammunition, there's less healing items, you take more damage from enemies, so on and so forth. But anyways, let's get into the tips for these runs. I'm going to combine them all into one video instead of making a separate one for Jill and Chris. First and foremost, make sure that you're always managing your inventory. So for Jill, she has 8 slots. Chris obviously has 6, so it's a lot tougher to manage inventory there. I always recommend grabbing heals and just go dump them into the box. You never know when you're going to need them. I definitely ran into a few situations during my runs where I got pinged around quite a bit by enemies, so it's better safe than sorry. Whether or not I use them is a different story. But if you want some insurance and you're not really well versed or familiar with the game, more heals the better. It gives you more room for error. 2, this one's possibly the most important thing. It's kind of route your way through. So I would even recommend going through and doing a few kind of like practice runs and writing notes, and that way you kind of keep yourself on a track, because it's very easy to kind of get lost in these games. There's a lot of doors and stuff that we will actually not even be going into in these runs. Or if I didn't keep my notes, it's very possible I would have gone into them. So yeah, keep yourself on track. I guess the same goes for a lot of like longer, more confusing games like Metroid and Zelda in the past. Keep your notes, keep yourself on track, and with all those heals and keeping yourself on track, you're pretty much all the way there to getting the no-death run done. And the next thing to keep in mind for both of these runs, I'll cover them respectively right now. For Jill, your weapon of choice is going to end up being the grenade launcher that you get when you meet Barry towards the beginning of the game at the top of the stairs. That will carry you through. In this version, there are plenty of grenade rounds, whether it be the basic ones, the acid ones, or the flame ones. It'll give you plenty to deal with the bosses as well as any enemies that might be in your way. For Chris, it gets a little bit trickier. You can go out of your way to get the shotgun, but I don't really recommend it. You can get the game done with a little bit of skill and practice just by using the knife and the handgun. The handgun, it pretty much kind of only comes into play for the Tyrant battles, but the handgun also can help you a little bit with some zombies in the laboratory. Otherwise, we're going to be kind of abusing this next thing, which is basically the last thing that I'm going to go over at this point, and that is canceling during attacks. So you'll see me through a lot of these runs swiping at a zombie, for example, and then going to my menu screen and then leaving and going right back out into the game. And what that does, the act of doing that, gives you a split second to run by the zombie. Now, if you were to slash the zombie with a knife and then try to run by it in general, it wouldn't work. The zombie would grab you and bite you. However, doing this little cancel ability, which I'm not gonna, I guess it was like V on my keyboard. I had really weird key bindings. Going in and out of the menu really quickly allows you to get by the zombies. Now, I can say that sometimes the camera angles could be a little weird, and it did take me a little bit of time to get used to the correct footsie distance, if you will, to use some fighting game community lingo, to get the initial knife hit on. But when you kind of get in that groove with the knife and the canceling, it makes things a lot easier, especially the first half of the game. Second half of the game, you know, different story a little bit, but... And of course, guys, above all else, have fun. And I'm sure if you watch my overview, if for some reason you've struggled with this game, haven't beat this game, Not only will I think you'll be able to beat it if you play this version, but you'll probably be able to beat it without dying as well, just like I did. So, take care, and enjoy the video.
Resident Evil.
Alpha Team is flying around the forest zone situated in northwest Raccoon City, where we're searching for the helicopter of our compatriots Bravo Team, who disappeared during the middle of our mission.
You haven't found it?
No, I haven't found it yet. Bizarre murder cases have recently occurred in Raccoon City. There are outlandish reports of families being attacked by a group of about 10 people. Victims were apparently eaten. Bravo Team went to the hideout of the group and disappeared.
Look, Chris!
It was Bravo Team's helicopter. Nobody was in it. But strangely, most of the equipment was still there. However, we soon discovered why.
Hey! Come here!
Joseph!
No! Don't go! Jill, run for that house!
Chris Redfield. Jill Valentine. Barry Burton. Rebecca Chambers. Albert Wesker. Resident Evil.
I don't know what happened.
Barry! Where's Barry?
Well, I'm sorry, but he's probably...
No. What is that?
I'll go and check.
Okay, Jill and I will stay in the hall in case of an emergency.
Chris, take care.
Alright, so we're starting the Chris run now. This run is very similar to the Jill run, so if you watched that one before, you're probably going to see a lot of similarities. Realistically, the only main differences are there's different routing inside of the mansion. There's also some different routing in the underground area. But for the most part, everything else is like the same. So our main goal remains the same. We're needing to get the 4 crests to get outside to the guardhouse. But like I said, kind of a different path here. We go check on the zombie, no Barry to save us. And after that, we return to the main hall here to find nobody.
What happened to Jill and Wesker?
Now you can see Jill's handgun, which we're not going to be picking up yet, but we will be picking up. The only weapons that we're actually going to be using in Chris's run are the knife and the handgun. Chris's run in general is harder. It straight up says it at the beginning of the game that it's the hard mode. Why is Chris's run harder? Well, first it's you don't get as good of weapons, right? You don't get the grenade launcher, which you get super early in Jill's run. Chris also has only 6 item slots as opposed to Jill's 8. Which means it's going to be more important for you to carry critical items as opposed to heals. And there are more enemies in weirder, harder places as well in Chris's run, so... And what you're seeing me do right now is the canceling strategy, which allows me to either run around a zombie if I choose to do so, or I can go back... keep going backwards and kill zombies easier with the knife. I'm still not adept at just killing the zombies with the knives without doing that, so I always lean on that crutch of a strategy. So after killing that one zombie, we go back in and do the statue puzzle to get the blue gem down below, which we'll be picking up a little bit later. Again, apologies for all the artifacting. I didn't quite figure out how to fix that, so that might just have to be something that we live with. If anybody knows how to fix that, please let me know.
Whoa! What is it?
What? Oh no! Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
So one of the main differences is for Chris, you're going to be saving Rebecca, where Jill, it's always revolving around Barry.
I'm a newcomer.
And here is the
Just
first
joined
instance of
S.T.A.R.S
seeing Rebecca.
last month. Well, I'm really sorry. Are you all right?
Yes. I'm Chris Redfield from the Alpha team. Are you the only person here from the Bravo team?
Well, because the helicopter made a forced landing, I just ran into this house anyway, but
I see. There's nothing else you could have done anyway. It's good you're here.
Yes, sir. But it's strange. I serviced the helicopter recently, but something went wrong with the engine. It was such a short flight.
So after Rebecca's done talking, we're going to go grab this key here on the bed. And then we're going to try to leave. And it's very important that you say no
What
to
should I do
Rebecca.
now? If you go out to search for the other members, how about letting me come with you?
It's pretty dangerous outside. Let me take care of it.
I understand. For now, I'll wait here, since there are a lot of chemicals in this room and they might be useful. Well, I'll look over the chemicals.
So now, our goal is we're going to have to go to the piano room. Doing a little bit of zombie shenanigans here to avoid them. So we're going to hang down this hallway and just run right by the zombies out to the main hall where there was the original zombie. And we're going to go to the piano room. Now, one of the other things that makes Chris's part harder is he doesn't know how to play piano, which we'll see shortly. Thankfully, Rebecca will help us. I'm going to grab Moonlight Sonata and go attempt to play the piano. As you can see, the positioning is quite particular for playing the piano. If you're slightly off, much like with the cranks later in the game will not allow you to execute.
It's me, Chris.
Is that you, Rebecca?
Ah, it's the Moonlight Sonata.
Can you play? Wait, what is that?
So after Rebecca clunks around here, it's going to be quite familiar what we're going to be doing, just again, slightly different routing.
May I practice for a while?
We're going to have her stay and practice.
See? Just relax and play.
All right.
And now we're off on our merry way. We're going to head back out to the dining room, where we're going to be able to apparently run into stuff. We're going to be grabbing the emblem. And we're also going to head around and grab the blue gem that we unearthed with the puzzle up top a little earlier. And head out to the main hallway where we're actually going to be grabbing Jill's handgun. Again, the handgun and the knife are the only weapons that we're going to be using in this run. Cutting through the right side here to the infamous dog hallway. Just stick close to the wall and you'll be fine. There is a green herb there. If you have an extra inventory space, feel free to pick it up now. Otherwise, you can pick it up later. Head down to the end here, and we're making our way to the save room underneath the stairs. There's also herbs outside there. Keep that in mind. And this is all, again, if you've played the Jill scenario, seeming familiar, you're going to be grabbing the, do some inventory management, of course. And we're going to be grabbing the plant chemical, so we can kill the plant in the plant room. Debating long and hard here as to what I want in my inventory. Again, Chris only has 6 slots, so it's a little bit more difficult. Looks like we're going to be stocking up here on some heals, again, just in case. Better safe than sorry. You know, in a person of my, you know, social structure these days, the last thing I want to do is get an hour deep into a run and have it fail, you know what I mean? Don't quite have the luxury that other speed and challenge runners have, right? They just keep resetting for 5 hours. So now we're going to head up the stairs. We're going to do a cancel here to run around the zombie. Again, abusing the canceling ability here. And down around into the main hall. Well, upstairs main hall area, right? So basically we're working our way over to the green hallway so we could do both the tiger statue puzzle as well as get to the plant room. So we're gonna run around the puking zombies, head down the stairs, go through the zombie-laden dark/red hallway as I call it. Yeah, I definitely didn't need to do that. I had an avenue just to run by that zombie there, but it is what it is. Alright. We got 2 things to do here. Looks like first we're gonna go do the tiger statue. We're gonna do the /cancel to go in and do that puzzle, which will give us our first crest. And then we're going to be heading down the other side of the hall here to do the plan puzzle. We can get the key. This is an instance of an extra enemy. There is no other zombie there in Jill's scenario. Once you get past that one zombie, that's it. Definitely running into some issues here, so if you feel the need, you can reset the room. Luckily, we got the zombie drop after the few swipes, which allows us to safely go to the plant room, which again also has a ton of herbs. If you do have inventory spaces, as I do, you should probably stock up. Of course, killing the plant allows us to freely grab the herbs and, most importantly, the key. Have to make sure, excuse me, my voice there. Morning allergies, you know what I'm saying? Have to make sure that you do have one space though for the key. Otherwise, you're gonna have to do some inventory management. If you accidentally ever pick up an extra herb and you don't want to go back to the save room, obviously all you have to do is run out and get bit by a zombie. So now our goal is actually we're going to go back to the plant room, and Rebecca should have had more than enough time to learn how to, well, relearn how to play Moonlight Sonata.
Chris! Chris! You like it?
Oh, that was great.
What is that?
So now that Rebecca's played Moonlight Sonata successfully, we could do the emblem swap puzzle, but big problem, guys. Had a feeling it was going to happen, right? Picking up too many herbs. We don't have enough inventory space. So, the quickest way to go do that is to kind of backtrack where we were. And we're going to be able to go to the save room, the serum room, save room, where we first encountered Rebecca. Luckily, it's not too far away, but if you want to be a little bit more efficient, guys, make sure after the plant room that you do have one space open. I decide to dump both of my herbs, that way I'm not messing with any kind of extraneous inventory or, you know, save box backtracks. Because unfortunately, unlike real life where you could easily swap an emblem, or whatever they are, yeah, an emblem, right, for the other emblem, not in Resident Evil, guys, you need to have an open spot because you have to take it first. So you're going to be putting in the emblem that we got out in the dining room in place of this one, and then you're going to be putting the gold emblem that you got in here back out in the dining room, which unearths another key inside of the, I guess you'd call it the clock puzzle. A little bit more intricate in the remake. Much more straightforward in this version. Place that there. And now we're going to be beelining to the Yawn room, which of course is upstairs. And unlike in Jill's scenario, Richard's already dead, so we don't have to mess with any kind of backtracking to the serum room. So obviously if these timelines are concurrent, Jill has already been here. But again, I don't think that they are. Don't quite remember. Either way. Because I believe Chris rescues Jill if she gets poisoned. I don't think it's Barry. But I don't remember. Anyway. Heading into Yawn's room, luckily we're able to discard the key so you can pick up some heals on the way in. Again, guys, if you get poisoned, don't worry about it. I think if you get bit once, you're poisoned. I try the same strategy here as I did with the Jill run, where I kind of back up and run around this side. We do get hit. That's all good. We're gonna go pick up the crest and then make our way out. Just be mindful that you don't get killed in here. As long as you get out of here alive, you're fine, even if you're on poison danger. Because much like with Jill, you will collapse, and then you will end up in the serum room, fully healed. Obviously, Rebecca heals Chris. She happens to be at the right place at the right time.
Damn it, give me serum.
Which is good news for Chris, right?
Is that you, Rebecca?
Chris, are you all right?
Yeah. What happened?
You were bitten by a poisonous snake. Are you okay?
My head is killing me.
I think you'll be all right because I gave you a shot. But please stay out of trouble.
You saved my life. I owe you one.
So as we awoken from our poisoned slumber, we're gonna dump off some stuff to make sure we have adequate inventory space, as we still need 2 more crests, and that's our goal now. Get the final 2 crests. So we're gonna backtrack our way up the stairs, as you saw there, and around the puking zombies, which will bring us back towards this upstairs area above the dining room. Go around the other side, that way we don't have to engage the zombie whatsoever. And we're heading back across as if we were going to the Yawn room, but we're not going into that door. We're going to be heading to the armor puzzle room, which is the infamous blue, teal, green, whatever you want to call it, double doors around the, right there. Around the end, as I was going to say. And this puzzle revolves around poison gas, so what you need to do is push the statues on top of the grates and then press the button. Very similar to a puzzle that we will be encountering down in the underground Umbrella Lab at the end of the game to, I guess, what would be the word, format one of the final MODISKs. Luckily this one, you have to actually push the button. If you accidentally, step on it, it's not going to trigger the gases, which is good. Pick up the sun crest here, and now we only need 1 more crest, which will be in the, probably my favorite puzzle of the game, the painting puzzle, which depicts a person's life from birth to death. So we went around the other end here, which pops us out to a familiar territory. We're going to head down the stairs. If you need to do any more inventory management, obviously the save room is here. My slash cancel didn't work there. We got the puking zombie and ran right into him. Anyway, here is the puzzle. So I'm just going to say it out loud. Basically, again, from birth to death, you're going to be pushing picture 2, 4, 5, 3, 1, 6, and 7 in that order. 7 obviously being the one all the way at the end. But if you don't remember, the movement patterns or the numbers that I gave you, you just go through the life cycle of a person from baby to dead, basically. And yes, you can look at the wrong painting, so to speak, as long as you don't push the button. Now, if you do the puzzle wrong, the crows will attack you, so be careful. But now we're going to have all 4 crests, which means we can go outside to the guardhouse. So pretty much When you leave this room, you're going to go straight across to the door to get to the outside area. But be wary, there is a zombie there. We're going to do the old /cancel. And there is a dog out here. Don't really worry about the dog either. Just focus on putting your crests in. If you mash quick enough, you actually will constantly be back in your menu state. You see I didn't mash quick enough there, but I did the first time and that time. Turn around quickly, go to the door, and now we're heading towards the guardhouse. First things first, we have to push the step ladder a little ways in there and then against the wall so we can get the crank, which allows us to mess with the water levels and allows us to advance to the guardhouse. Lots of heals out here, so again guys, if you want to grab them now, feel free. If you want to grab them on the way back from the guardhouse, also feel free. Luckily, there's a bunch of red herbs, which allows us to get full heals, and we can combine to save on some inventory space, but fret not, because pretty soon we will be in the guardhouse, and there is a save room and item box very quickly into your guardhouse endeavors. And while I was yapping, you guys saw an instance of me resetting the room. The dogs got a little too close for comfort, so I just walked back to where we came and then came back and the dogs had been reset. Keep that in mind. Very useful once in a while. Looks like I reset the room there just because. Have a little bit more consistent dog layout. And we're going to head across and utilize our crank to lower the water and continue on. So I did want to point out that other than the Plant 42 room, for the most part, the guardhouse is exactly the same routing as it is with Jill. So if you're familiar with that run, not much will be changed. I know I keep referring to Jill's run, but that's because I did Chris's run second. It's the second video that's going to be appearing on my channel, so bear with me. I realize some of you might find this before the Jill run, and if so, I apologize. So after going down the elevator, we're just going to cut through here, and we're going to have one final runway towards the guardhouse. Lots of dogs here. I do tend to get bit quite often here, so if you do, don't worry. Again, heals are everywhere. You probably picked up a bunch. There's some outside there when you return later. And there's actually a bunch of heals in this area as well. So just in case, we're going to get some blue herbs, which help heal poison. You can combine them with red and green herbs to make like the uber herb, so to speak. So enemies that can poison you, I believe Black Tiger can poison you. I believe if you get hit by the tarantulas, which is very difficult because we only encounter them once in our run, and you pretty much just run around them, they could poison you. And I also believe the snakes could poison you as well, but again, if you just keep moving, they'll basically never hit you. Either way, it's basically just being safe, you know? So this is optional. Speedrunners don't do this, but I choose to do it. You push the statue over the hole here, and that way Plant 42 can't grab you. And we're going to do some inventory management here. We're going to need a bit of space, so... I grabbed the first aid spray, but we're not going to use it, guys. I will use those handgun bullets, so I will gladly grab those. Just double checking this key here to determine if it was good to drop, or drop back in the box, which I did determine that that was the case. So we're also going to dump off everything that we picked up in this room, basically. And we're going to continue on. We're going to have to drain the tub and get the key. And then we're also going to have to get the red book here. Now, it's a little bit more difficult, because with Jill, you could just easily use the grenade launcher to kill the one zombie, grab the book, and leave. But there are 2 zombies in this room, and we are only utilizing the knife and the handgun. So it's a little bit more difficult for Chris. You're gonna see some bunch of shenanigans going on here, and it's probably not gonna be totally clean, but we'll do our best. I think it's what, 3 swipes and they usually fall? Oh, in this case it was 2. Maybe it is 2, I always thought it was 3. Not feeling great about our positioning right now. We're just gonna do our best to keep canceling and running around. And luckily, zombie's dead, as you see by the blood. And we're gonna reset the room and possibly just try to go grab the book and leave. A little clunky there, but we should be fine. Yeah, that was not the best routing into that room, but at the end of the day, we got it done, so that's all that matters. Accidentally went into the save room there, no big deal. We're gonna head past the Plant 42 hole, and we're gonna go grab what I dubbed the bee key, where we just make a beeline to this key by this beehive, and we immediately leave. The key that was in the drained bathtub is very important because when you end up going down to the water puzzle area, you're gonna need that key. I actually had a practice run where I forgot to drain the tub, and then at that point I was like, alright, I'm done. I wasn't recording, thankfully. So in order to get down to the water puzzle area, all you have to do is push the bookcases out of the way. You don't need to push them as much as I did, but why not? And this puzzle is the exact same across both scenarios. Pretty much what you have to do is push this box a little bit over here, get around the edge so you can kind of push it away from this wall. You can push it all the way against the other wall and start pushing it down to save some time. That's the hardest part of this puzzle, is just remembering to do this. The other 2 boxes that you push in are very self-explanatory. So we're going to push this down a ways, and then we're going to push the other 2 boxes in, and then come back and push this one in, and we're done. I would say the water area as a whole, again, much like a few other spots in this game, definitely a lot easier than the remake. The remake has a lot more intricate stuff going on down here, and rightfully so, because I feel like this is a very interesting area of the game that's not necessarily explored totally well in this version. I think that was a good instance of the remake taking the bull by the horns, so to speak, and just, you know, making something that's good greater. Using the control room key here on this smaller door, where our main goal is going to be hitting the switch over here, draining the water, and then hitting the switch on the wall to unlock the door next to us. Main purpose of this room is grabbing the key. We do not need the shotgun shells because we're not even picking up the shotgun. And I believe that I end up going into this room over here just to double check, but we're actually not going to be grabbing anything out of here. I believe this is the room where you could use the V-Jolt, if I remember correctly, to either weaken or kill Plant 42 before the actual fight, but we don't use that either. I'm gonna pick up a heal or 2 up here. And basically the key that we found just a few moments ago will allow us to get to the Plant 42 boss fight, which is basically the last part of the Guardhouse. And the Plant 42 boss fight is considerably more difficult with Chris. Jill, it's pretty much as simple as shooting a couple of grenade rounds and then Barry saves us and it's over. Definitely a little bit longer and a little bit tougher with Chris. We're using our new key there, which we'll be discarding immediately. And we're going to be doing a simple book swap puzzle. Got to make sure that you have that red book in your inventory, and if you don't, you must go back and grab it. And this unlocks the room at Plant 42, which we will be using our knife to kill Plant 42. It looks like I decide to make a run back to the save room so we can get adequate heals. Because it seems like, to me anyway, Plant 42 is a little bit RNG based. I don't think that you can get the same pattern each time. I've definitely heard people refer to runs ending depending on if they get hit or not here. Oh, do I use a first aid spray? Yeah, I thought I was doing a no first aid spray run with Chris, but I guess I didn't. As you guys know, I do these voiceovers pretty late. Well, we'll see if I actually use it or not. If I don't, the no first aid spray run's still going. But I think I actually do use it, if I remember correctly. My Jill run was no first aid spray, we'll say that. So we're gonna run around to the opposite side and just kind of start swiping away. Eventually, when Plant 42 shrivels up, that kind of enacts Phase 2. A way to kind of reset the room and save a little time is to leave and go back in. Plant 42 will not regenerate, thankfully. Alright, so now we've basically killed Phase 1, so we're gonna leave and go back in. And kind of do the same strat here, we run around the other side. And we hope for good RNG. I think we do get slapped around a little bit, though. Yep. If you get slapped around, guys, just kind of get back in and work your way back in and swipe as much as you can. And there we are. It's actually pretty smooth. We got swiped once and that was it. Also, the no first aid spray run is still alive. So as you saw there, we went to the fireplace to make sure that we grabbed the key, and we are now done in the guardhouse. However, we're about to get a very long cutscene, which I'm going to mute myself for.
Wesker!
Chris, you're alive.
My words exactly. Where's Jill? Aren't you with Jill?
I'm sorry. We were attacked by a strange monster. I lost track of her while we were scouting around. I hope she's okay.
I see. Well, it's not your fault. This place is crazy. If we stay here, all of us will end up dead. What should we do, Wesker?
We have to complete this mission. Whether we escape or stay and look for Jill, we don't have many bullets left, and we can't even protect ourselves. We're still in trouble. Chris, there are a lot of locked rooms in that house. Check them out one more time. There must be a place to hide safely. I'll look around the house a little more.
Okay.
Let's get going.
Alright, after Wesker yapping, our main goal now is to go back to the mansion. We're going to do a little bit of inventory management here. Dumping the first aid spray, because we're not using that shit, right guys? We're going to grab a total mixed herb and a green herb. Do we use that because we got hit once? No. Guess not. So one of the things that you need to keep in mind at this portion of the run, between going back to the mansion and going underground, you're going to want to make sure that you have adequate heals, because this is probably the toughest part of the entire run. Between all the hunters and just everything that underground has to offer. So there we decided to pick up one of the herbs to use it. Because again, we did get swiped by Plant 42, so why not top off, right? We have an excess of heals. And we're going to combine that to kind of tidy up our inventory a little bit. And we're just going to go back from where we came. And unfortunately, when we re-enter the mansion, that'll be the entrance of the infamous hunters. Getting hit by the dog is obviously not ideal. As most internet jokes say, my advice for you, don't get hit.
It must be a S.T.A.R.S radio. It's a little bit broken, but it might still be usable. I'll take it with me.
One of the funny things about Chris's encounter with the hunters as opposed to Jill, when you go into the room that we're going to be going into right after the encounter, Chris like freaks out. It always makes me laugh.
What are they? Monsters? Rebecca! She's still in the house?
When you regain control, you're going to do the same thing you do with Jill, where you flip on the light switch and grab the book, which contains the metal, which allows us to go down to the laboratory after the underground area. But now, our goal is to go kill Yawn and go down below the mansion. Not the true underground area, if you will, but under the mansion, as I like to call it. We're going to dump off the red book, as we don't need it right now. Again, I like to have as many heals as possible, because the Yawn fight's not going to be very easy, and I'm not going to do a great job of it. Looks like I pick up the first aid spray. I think I do this just to be careful, but again, I'm pretty sure I don't use any first aid sprays on this run. And if I do, I just gotta update my thumbnails. Because I already have my thumbnails made as I record this voiceover. Pick up the handgun bullets, we're gonna drop those as well. So when you go down below after the Yawn fight, you're gonna want to make sure that you have 2 inventory spaces. That's like the minimum that you need. You're gonna go down here and just run by the hunter. Sometimes you get swiped, sometimes you don't. If you get swiped, or even if you don't, you sustain damage elsewhere. You can see there is a green herb in here, which you could pop. Or combine, in the case of what I just did. Alright, so Yawn time. We're gonna go over and play the piano, and Yawn will spawn, and this one's an actual fight that you can't run away from. Well, I guess you might be able to run away from it, but at some point you're gonna have to kill Yawn anyway. So what we're gonna try to do is kind of go to the top corner here and bait Yawn out so we can get some multiple swipes. As you see, when Yawn's up in the air there, it looks like we hit him 2 or 3 times. When he's down below, that's when things are not good. We get half the damage, he attacks us quicker, and as you can see, this fight's not great. We're already in caution. Thankfully, we grabbed 2 heals. Yawn's probably going to do a great job for us of keeping our inventory management tidy by fucking us up and making us use our heals. This was a bad fight. I really have nothing to say. Really, just bring some heals, whack away, and eventually Yawn will die. And as I said, when Yawn is up in the air, it's more advisable, because you can get like 2 swipes in per swipe. And we're going to head down below. No Barry in this scenario to give us a rope. We are pretty much forced at this point to go down below. Which is fine, because we need to go grab the MODISK and the battery. This area pretty much mimics Jill's to a T. We're gonna go through here to the kitchen. The only thing that's different about this run compared to Jill's, that's a little bullshit, by the way. If you go around like the corner, the zombie shouldn't grab you. But looks like I got like magnetic suction cupped into him, but oh well, it is what it is. Anyway, when you leave this area, because you don't have the rope, you have to leave a different way. That's the only difference. We're gonna knife cancel this fool and go grab the battery. And again, we're not gonna pick up the shotgun, so don't bother grabbing any of the shotgun shells. Now we must go grab the MODISK from the library area. Slash cancel, run around the corner, and immediately enter these double doors. Hang a left in this room, go through, and now we are in the library puzzle room. Main goal here is you have to push this statue across the room into the corner, and it will unlock the first MODISK. And for those of you that don't know, The MODISK is ultimately, you need 3 of them, and then you need to format or rewrite them down in the laboratory so you can rescue Jill to get the best ending. Alright, so one very, very important thing for the best ending as well that I want to get out of the way right now as we backtrack our way out, and as I mentioned, we have to leave the other door in the kitchen because we don't have the rope. We're going to be doing something that looks very weird, but what it is we are triggering the Rebecca instance, if you will, for the best ending. We're not actually going to be seeing Rebecca, but by what our actions do, excuse me, Rebecca will be saved, so to speak, from the mansion. So I'll show you what to do here. Obviously, you have to avoid the zombie. Go up the stairs, and we're going to be back in the main, what I dub the main or first zombie hall by the piano room. Be careful, there are hunters everywhere. And we're going to have to backtrack through the green hall, and then the area where there is the serum room. We're going to be entering that area and exiting immediately. So you go down here, go through this door, and now we've saved Rebecca by doing this. And we can just backtrack back out now. Interesting stuff, right? So in case you're wondering, why did you do that? Well, I saved Rebecca that way, basically. Again, you don't see her, you don't hear anything, there's no trigger, so to speak, but it's in the game, I guess. So now we're going to backtrack our way around here. We're actually going to see the tarantulas. But with these guys, just keep moving. You'll be fine. I don't remember the last time I got hit by those things. Now, unfortunately, there is a hunter in this hall. So be careful, guys. Now it's familiar territory, right? And if you, by the way, if you run around, that hunter will never hit you there. If you do like the perfect run arch, if you will, into the save room, he'll always miss the swipe. At least every time I've done it, he's always missed it, so. And I did mention, guys, this was the hardest part of the run. Between all the hunters and the yawns and stuff, I usually end up pretty low on heals or in danger. Or out of heals. And you see me stocking up on heals there. Looks like I was planning my route a little bit. Getting hit by the hunter was not desired. But ultimately we have to go back outside. Getting hit again, not great. I might heal after this. I probably should. Yeah, because there's another hunter out here. They're everywhere, guys. Seriously, it's kind of annoying. Okay, so now that we have the battery, it means that we are able to work the other elevator. So we're going to be doing some draining and non-draining shenanigans in order to get to the underground area. So we're going to go as if we were going back to the guardhouse, but obviously we're not. Our main goal right now is to put the battery in the elevator and backtrack. So if we cut down this way, there is an elevator that needed a battery. Quickly go on. And then what we're going to do is we're going to drain the water again and come back down this elevator and a new area will be unlocked. So now we're going to go back to the other elevator, go down and enter the underground area, which is also pretty tough. So make sure that your skills are on point and that you have a heal or two. Again, it's littered with hunters, so that's why it's tough. Also, I think I have a tough time with the Black Tiger fight. I've made mention on the other video and in the past that you can glitch Black Tiger, but I wasn't able to actually do it in this run. So we're going to kind of mimic what you do for Jill. You're going to end up going to the quote-unquote Enrico Hall. You saw that there was a flamethrower on the wall. That's one of the main differences of the underground area for Chris. Another difference is actually right after Enrico, which I'll discuss.
Enrico!
Don't come any closer, Chris.
Wait, what happened?
Double crosser!
Don't!
Hell. Umbrella.
So we're going to be grabbing a crank, and there's going to be 2 hunters. Now, if you don't bait the first hunter to swipe at you, you're going to get, like, hunter fucking banged. Like, they're just going to fuck you up. Luckily for us, we bait the swipe, and we're able to easily grab the crank. Because if he doesn't swipe, that hunter will follow you, hit you, and then the one that's right in front of you will start hitting you, and you could actually die real easily there. We got pretty good RNG, it seems. We're gonna have to do some flamethrower shenanigans, but not quite yet. So basically what the flamethrower does is it unlocks a door. But we're backtracking towards the beginning, again, obviously not saving, and now we have to use our new crank, which is only used in the underground area. And we're going to be doing a lot of cranking and boulder dodging. We run towards the boulder to trigger it and make sure that you hide in the alcove, otherwise you will die. Gonna grab the flamethrower. Which you can use, but it serves as a key. That's its primary function. There is a hunter there. Now it's Black Tiger. You can kill Black Tiger, but ultimately your goal is to get rid of the spider webs on the door so you can proceed. You actually don't have to kill Black Tiger. Now the easiest ways to do it, you could like shoot it off with like grenades, you could swipe at it with your knife. Black Tiger shoots acid at it and it could deteriorate. And I believe in the corner of the room I think there's a lighter, which I think you could light it on fire. But I was trying to get the Black Tiger glitch, where if you keep running around Black Tiger closely, most of the time Black Tiger will just stop moving. I don't know what I did differently. I used to be able to do this very consistently, and then I found in these runs, you know, granted I haven't played in like 2 years, I wasn't able to do it, unfortunately. So, thankfully we got 2 poison spits there from Black Tiger to help get rid of the stuff off the door, and another. One of the things that does suck about auto-aim is, obviously, you could be facing towards the door and aim, and it will auto-target Black Tiger, which makes it a little bit more difficult for you in this version. Wasn't the best fight. Could have been probably tidied up by a minute, but still got it done. And thankfully, for your sake, there is a save room right around the bend with an ink ribbon, too, so... If you're playing a normal run, feel free to save. Otherwise, for me, we're going to be dumping the old crank. And pretty soon we're going to be placing the flamethrower, so we don't have to worry about that either. Dumping off a heal, keeping a full heal, and then more likely than not topping off because we did get hit a bit during the Black Tiger fight. And there is also a blue herb there in case you do get poisoned by Black Tiger, and like I said, it's possible that the, excuse me, I bumped into my desk, that the snakes can poison you as well. I can't recall though. Dumping the first aid spray, again, I think I just pick all those up for insurance. I'm pretty sure that I don't use them. Doing some inventory management here, as you see. Definitely want to make sure that you have the Doom book, otherwise you have to make a backtrack here. Our goal right now is we're going to be getting one final MODISK and the other medal, which I believe is the wolf medal, that allows us to enter the laboratory. Here we're going to be placing the flamethrower, which unlocks the store. In Jill's scenario, it's already unlocked. And this is basically the final area of the underground. A little annoying here, you have to crank this 3 times, then you have to bait out the boulder. Well, technically you don't. If you're not doing best ending, you don't need to bait out the boulder, but if you are doing best ending, there is a MODISK behind the boulder. So do a bunch of cranking, and then make sure when you trigger the boulder that you run into the alcove, which will be to our left and Chris's right. And there you see me just getting used to the controls. I didn't want to make sure, excuse me, I wanted to make sure that I didn't die at this point. So we actually didn't trigger the boulder, but might as well just get as close to it as possible. There you go. And then immediately just go up and to the right, and you'll be fine. As mentioned, there is a MODISK over here, make sure you grab it. The final MODISK is down in the laboratory, and then all you have to do is format them. So this is an interesting puzzle, revolves around pushing a statue and using the crank. You're going to want to push it up against the wall here a bit. And then the crank will push it out into the middle of the floor. Again, you got to be like picture perfect with your placement, otherwise you get error messages. So now we're going to go around, push this statue down, and then you see that like off-colored thing in the floor. That's where the statue goes, and it will unlock the blue book, which gives you the wolf medal. And now we are free to leave. And how do you leave? Basically, you stay in this area, and there was an elevator on the other side that we didn't go to yet. And that'll bring us outside to where we place the medals, and you can grab some heals, and then we make our way to the final area of the game, the underground laboratory. So on each side, you place the medals. Got to make sure again that you're facing the right exact pixel perfect spot. And like I said, there are some heals here, so if you have inventory space, you might as well grab them just to be safe. The game is very, very generous with blue herbs. Again, not quite sure off the top of my head if the American version is, but the Biohazard version, which we are playing, gives you plenty of opportunities to heal poison if you sustain poison status. And we're going to head down now. And this is where we're going to be until the end, people. And I will say this once again, this portion of the run is basically exactly the same as Jill's. So our goal down here, we need to hack the computer terminal to unlock some things, turn on an elevator, find the final MODISK, and rewrite or format all the MODISKs. We will be utilizing the handgun down here, and there's 2 more bosses to go. First things first is we are going to go downstairs to the computer terminal. We're going to hang a Chris's left down here. And since we're so smart, we already know all the passcodes and usernames, which will be John, Ada, and Mole. And you're going to want to unlock B2, and then I think you have to enter Mole, and you can unlock B3, and then you quit out and you go back upstairs to where the puking zombies just were. All in all, the laboratory area is not too bad. There's only a couple of tricky spots. I always have a bit of trouble in the power or boiler room because of the weird enemies that are down there. They always seem to hit me a lot. And there's one room that you have to go in to format one of the MODISKs at the end with a bunch of naked zombies. There is a routing path through there, but I am not a speedrunner and I didn't really practice. So instead of trying to learn that, clearly, I just try to go in with brute force, and it doesn't work very well. I actually get bit quite a bit in this run, I remember. Luckily, we have plenty of heals, and we just keep our composure and we get through it. So going back upstairs, I accidentally looked at that, didn't mean to. We're gonna reset the... well, actually, we're gonna do the puzzle first. But we could utilize that as a room reset, because the zombie that was in front of that one table out there is not there in Jill's run. Unfortunately for Chris, it is, and that's where the MODISK is. But you have to go in here anyway to get the key. So now our goal is to get the MODISK outside of this door. We have to be very, very careful and shrewd. We're gonna grab the MODISK, and now we have all three. Obviously they're not in our inventory right now, but we have all three of them, so that's good. We can reset the room and run back downstairs. So now we're gonna be going to the aforementioned boiler or power room. The camera angle here gets a little tricky. I always get bit by this guy. It's possible just to run around, but again, I barely practiced this run, so it's not a big deal. We're gonna use our new key on this double door, and then we can discard it. Again, more zombies in this version than there are in Jill's, and I actually forgot about that guy, to be honest with you. And here it is. We have to hang a right, and we have to use this terminal. Try not to get swiped by these guys, they're really annoying. We're gonna go around the room and through the door, and in this room we need to write our new MODISK, or format it, at this machine or kiosk. Don't bother reading it, not a big deal. And then we have to hang through here and go to the power room where we could restore power to the elevator. We got jumped on there, not good. Things are not going good. We're just mashing to try to get to safety, because luckily there are no enemies in this room. And we're gonna go to this terminal to restore the power. And believe it or not, we're almost done with the underground area. So we're gonna backtrack our way out. And we're gonna head towards the elevator, but don't go to the elevator yet, guys. If you go to the elevator, you trigger a very long cutscene, and then you go to the first boss fight of the underground lab. Make sure you stop off at the save room. Luckily for us, these zombies have somehow disappeared. I'm gonna say in my headcanon, maybe Rebecca cleared them out, who we'll be running into shortly. So we do have the first boss fight of the area, Tyrant 1, if you will. We're going to make sure that we have adequate heals, and we're also going to make sure that we have a bunch of handgun bullets. Tyrant 1 is a lot easier than Tyrant 2, but you're going to see me fuck up, of course, right? I actually end up going into the fight without my gun equipped, if I remember correctly. And it causes me to get hit once or twice by the Tyrant. So, you see my guns equipped right now, right? For some reason, I think this cutscene unequips you. And I'm curious to see. So let's go take a look. After we do some more item droppage. Now we're gonna go around to the elevator, turn the elevator on, and I'm gonna mute myself. We're gonna have a very long cutscene, but guys, when we come back from the cutscene, and we go to the Tyrant fight, I think I'm not crazy. I think the game unequips your gun. And I forgot about that.
Becca,
enjoy the scene.
safe.
I saw you in the garden. I've caught up with you at last.
Well, I'm glad you're all right. Don't go out alone.
Yes, sir.
Chris, as my subordinate, you have wonderful talent.
I would never work for a company like Umbrella. And Wesker, you were formerly with Umbrella.
What do you mean?
Since when have you been an Umbrella agent? and a traitor to the S.T.A.R.S.
Now you're wrong. I was formerly with Umbrella, yes. But now I'm prepared to face anything. Even getting rid of you vigilante S.T.A.R.S.
Now, the worst possible situation has occurred. The failure of the experiment created a virus, a biological weapon, polluting the entire lab.
No, the worst happened with a Tyrant virus. I lost some of my S.T.A.R.S team members because of it.
You killed them with your own hands. Did you kill Enrico?
Really?
Yeah, like this.
Rebecca!
Don't move! If you do, I'll kill you. Chris, I have something to show you. Now, walk.
Wanted to pop back on real quickly. Enjoy this cutscene. The dialogue exchange between Chris and Wesker here when he's unveiling the Tyrant is really fucking funny.
Is this?
That's right. This is the ultimate life form. Tyrant! Chris? Stop it.
Wesker, you're pitiful. This is your savior? You say this failure is your savior?
You can make sure yourself whether Tyrant is a failure or not.
Alright, so after Wesker gets killed here by the Tyrant, we're supposed to run around and go to the corner of the room and start blasting. But you'll see the error of my ways, and again, I think that your gun gets unequipped during this cutscene. You don't see one in Chris's hand clearly. But you can't kill me, or whatever the hell he says, I don't know. Alright, so we're gonna run around Wesker to the left and go to, yeah, we don't have the gun equipped, and we forgot. And this hesitation here completely screwed me up. Completely. Because I could have got like 3 or 4 shots in, and then we end up just getting really bamboozled at this point. So we're just gonna be playing like Ring Around the Rosie with Wesker's body until we kill the Tyrant. It's not ideal, but I mean, at the end of the day, we do get the job done. The biggest snafu there, again, we could have got like 3 to 4 shots in easily at the beginning, and we just totally forgot about the whole your gun's unequipped thing. So make sure you equip your gun, okay? And then you could use Wesker's body as like a human meat shield, if you will. Tyrant goes down relatively easily in this fight. And then when you're done, you want to make sure that you hit the switch. And I believe there are some handgun bullets here if you want them, which we're going to be going ham in the naked zombie room. So, might as well grab them. Because the Japanese version allows you to combine all the ammo, so.
Wow!
Ha! It seems like this bulletproof jacket is pretty strong.
I see.
How about Captain Wesker?
He is sleeping with the ultimate failure. Hurry up. I want to get out of here.
Alright, so there's 3 more things that we need to do before we could leave. We have to configure or format the final 2 MODISKs, and then we have to rescue Jill.
Excuse me, Chris.
What, Rebecca?
I saw a research file in this lab. It said that a great deal of research on the Tyrant virus exists right here. We should blow this place up.
We are already into it over our heads. Rebecca, can you do it?
Yes, sir. I'll set off a triggering system for a bomb.
Okay. Now we have a chance to escape. See you outside the house.
make a stop at the save room here to do some inventory management and swapping. Obviously, I took a little bit more damage than I was hoping in the Tyrant fight, but oh well. And we have to make sure that we have our 2 MODISKs on our person. So we're going to top off our heals and probably just grab the 2 MODISKs at this point. Oh. Yes, I didn't need to use that. Alright, let's go format these babies. So the first room that we're going to be going into is very similar to the armor poison gas room. It's another poison gas puzzle. Except this one's a little bit more deadly. So, similar to the water room, you're going to have to make sure that you push these boxes away, and the only way to do that is to kind of push it up and away. I like how the game kind of incrementally gives you this general puzzle. As I mentioned earlier, make sure you don't touch the switch. It doesn't require a action prompt. If you touch it in any way, shape, or form, the gas comes out. So our goal here is to push the boxes over the grates, and then ultimately push the step ladder on top of the button flush against the wall so we can go into the other room. Now if you trigger the poison gas, you could die pretty quickly. I've seen speedrunners not even bother with the boxes, but I tried that once and I died. I wasn't able to get through the hole. I don't know why. I might have been like off course slightly or something. So I will say that the boxes kind of do a good job of keeping you on course, so to speak. So I'd recommend just going the extra mile and doing it to be safe. You don't want to lose a run at this point, right? So I flubbed up my stuff there a little bit. As you can see, I ended up having to push it up so we can get around it. It's a little tricky, as you can see, like half the time you can't get through and half the time you can, but there you go. Perfect. Push this one flush against the wall over the grates, and then we can safely push the step ladder over this. You'll hear a click. No big deal. And enter in this room to format the second MODISK. And we're gonna leave, and we're gonna end up going towards the stairs, but we're gonna hang back down those double doors before we go up the stairs because we need to format the final MODISK and grab Jill out of that same hallway. Now this room's gonna be a clusterfuck. I'm just letting you know right now. As I said, for speedrunners, there is a routing path that you could take, where basically nothing matters. And unfortunately, unlike Resident Evil 2, where you can really push things off you, you can get, as you see, just bit to shit. Luckily, Chris is a beast, and we're able to push through and get our MODISK formatted. And we're going to be able to reload and start banging away on these guys once more. To hopefully make a cleaner exit. Auto-aim failed me there, of course. And not too bad of an exit, but my god, you guys, I did warn you. The entrance was horrible. And don't worry, we have plenty of ammo to deal with the Tyrant still. That's why we grabbed all those extra clips. In here, we're entering in all 3 passcodes with the MODISK, like passcode format things that we got. And we're going to be able to save Jill now.
Jill!
So all the criteria has now been met for the best ending. All we have to do is beat the game.
Jill, you're all right.
Yes. Wesker is here. He's...
Oh, I know. Anyway, let's get out of here.
So our goal now is to get back upstairs to the helipad area. We're going to make sure that we top off our heals and grab any final heals that we may need. We no longer need the knife, but I might bring it with me just in case I flub up, which I don't. There's a pretty cool trick that you could do to make the hunter fight very easy, which we will go over. gonna go up the stairs here and around these zombies. Be careful, the last zombie, he does bite. There are also heals in this hallway if you do need them. And this is your final access to the item box, so keep that in mind. So we're gonna top off, and honestly, we're pretty good. Do I grab another herb? Do I grab a first aid spray? Yep. Alright, we are topped off and ready to rock. Wow, the artifacting got real bad during this stretch of the game. Goodness. Apologies again for that. Don't know why it does that. I have a really good computer. It seems to do that a lot when there's a lot of quick screen transitions for some reason, and I don't really understand why. So now the hardest puzzle in RE history. Where are we gonna put this battery, guys? Where do you think we're putting it? Right there. Wow. Anyway. This is gonna trigger the countdown, so you are on a timer here to beat the Tyrant. As you see, we got Jill and Rebecca. Best ending, baby. Let's go. They're gonna stay back to ward off evil, and we're gonna go up with Chris and use the flare to summon the helicopter. And it's gonna be Brad from more infamously, I guess, Resident Evil 3 fame. Oh yeah, you gotta make sure that you have an inventory space here, but you have to anyway because of the whole battery thing. Because you're gonna need to use the flare. And we're gonna position it over here. Kind of towards the top, near these little power generator thingies, whatever they are. And now, what we're gonna do, we're gonna wait out the Tyrant, the final Tyrant, breaking out of the ground. We're gonna fire a few shots at the Tyrant, and then when he comes to run at us, we're gonna run to the left. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the Tyrant caught on those generator gas things, whatever the hell they are. Alright, so here's the Tyrant. Again, when he comes up, fire a few shots, and then we're gonna run to the left and get the Tyrant caught. As soon as he starts running, make a dash for it. Stay tight, and start firing. The Tyrant will stay stuck here as long as you don't move. Fire as many shots as it takes before Brad throws down the rocket launcher, and then we can finish the Tyrant off. So now, we're just gonna go grab the rocket launcher, fire one shot at the Tyrant, and that's game, baby. Luckily, he missed a swipe. It's as easy as equipping and firing, and we're done. Say goodnight. Resident Evil 1/Biohazard, PC, Chris scenario, best ending, no save, no death, no first aid spray. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in another No Death run. Take care.